right. We are going to work on our fluency, and I need to get a fluency from you and the comprehension. So what we're going to do is we're going to review this nonfiction story, and it's called The Arrow Poison Frog. We have some key words that we need to know before we do the story, and I will time you to see how many words you can read in a minute, like we've done with all of our fluencies. Do you know the first word?
Poison.
Poison. Poison. We're talking about the poison frog. And can you read me the definition of what poison is?
A
Substance.
substance that can cause harm or death.
Okay, so poison is something we definitely don't want to mess with. Think of cleaners and things like that. You would never want to drink that or get that on your skin or anything. Okay, my next word, and I guess I'll come on here. What's our next word here? You have a mom and dad, they are your parents. Okay, can you read the definition?
Parents or anyone that makes offspring.
Okay, so parents don't have to be humans, they can be animals, they can be plants. They're just coming together and they make other babies, which are the offspring. Okay, our next word.
Tadpoles. Young frogs that have a tail living in the water.
You ever seen a tadpole? We used to catch those and keep those and everything. So what I want you to do is try to write a prediction. You know what a prediction is? What do you think it means when it says predict? We're going to predict what the story's about. So you're going to take the words and look at the picture. What do you think we're going to read about today?
Frog.
Any kind of frog?
Poison frog.
So can you write me a sentence that would go about that? I'm trying to think what we're reading about. Okay, how would you formulate your sentence? Then you just say we are learning about this. How we will learn about this. And then remember your capital letter, which is out to sea. Very good. Now what we're going to do is our fluency. And you're going to read, and as you read, we're just going to see how many words you can read in a minute. So if you don't know a word, it's okay, just skip it, and we'll come back and we'll review that. All right, so I'm going to look at my timer, and you may begin.
In the body of a tiny frog, no longer than one of your fingers, is one of the most deadly poisons in the world. Just a drop is enough to kill a person. Indians in South America used to put a poison on their arrows, and they would catch a frog and poke holes in it with a stick. Then they would hold it over a fire. The poison would come out in drops. It took only one small frog to make enough poison for 50 deadly arrows. The arrow poison frog is brightly colored and scare off other animals from eating it. Some are bright red with black spots.
Stop writing that. You did very good. And I like how you auto-corrected yourself when you didn't know certain words. You did very good. You didn't get one right there, so very good. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a chance, since you kind of read through that a little faster, trying to get your fluency, which is great. But now we're going to read through the whole passage. We're not going to time you this time. We're going to read through the whole passage so we can look at some comprehension questions as well. And then we'll come back this afternoon and we will read the passage again to see how your fluency changed after you read the story once. I'm going to let you start over. You can read at a comfortable pace. And if you need help with any word, let me know.
In the body of a tiny frog, no longer than one of your fingers, is one of the most deadly poisons in the world. Just a drop is enough to kill a person. Indians in South America used to put the poison on their arrows. They would catch a frog and poke holes in it with a stick. Then they would hold it over a fire. The poison would come out in drops. It took only this small with the arrow. The arrow poison frog is brightly colored and scares the other animals from eating it. Some are bright red and black spots. Others are bright green and black. These frogs may be deadly to other animals and to people. They, but they are loving parents. The father frog carries the eggs around on his back. When the eggs turn into tadpoles, he still carries them. At last, they get big enough to live on their own.
Very good. So when you're reading that, I noticed that when you come to a period, you're not taking a long enough pause. So now we're just going to make sure we just kind of take a pause after every period. Kevin, catch your breath, and then we'll continue on so it sounds more fluent. But you did a good job. You got through there. You were able to sound out those words that you were having difficulty with. You did a good job. So now could you tell me in your own words, what did we just learn about these frogs?
We learned about how the frogs are poisonous to kill people, and the Indians would put the poison on arrows to kill the people, and how the father, the parents are loving, and they carried the eggs. The dad carries the eggs on his back.
Okay, so the frogs, the parents of the frogs, they enjoy their offspring and they don't hurt them, but who is killing these frogs to make these arrows?
The Indians.
Very good, very good. So our next thing that we're going to look at, and we can keep the passage so that you can see the passage to refer back. We've got a few comprehension questions. I want to see if you can answer these questions. And just like when we're doing any kind of assessment, you can always look back at the passage to go look and see if you can find those answers. That's a good strategy to go back and reread. So can you read us the first question, please?
What is the name of the story? A. Arrow poison frogs are deadly. Arrow poison frogs are brave. Arrow poison frogs are good parents. I would say A.
Because what did it talk about in the story mainly?
That is it.
That their dad was telling us about their poison. All right. Do you think their parents are still good parents? That the main focus was
They
kill. All right. Let's look at question 2.
How did the Indians use the poison? To take body paint, to make food, to make poisonous arrows. I would say 2.
All right. Very good. Number 3.
What does poke mean in the story? A. You slowly B. Hit the fist. B. Make a hole. B. Make a hole.
And what were they making a hole in?
The frog.
And what were they getting out of that hole?
The poison.
There you go.
Why is it good that arrow poison frogs are brightly colored? A. They are pretty to look at. B. Their colors keep in mind.
Oh, enemy.
Enemy way.
Mm-hmm.
B. They make colorful arrows.
What do you think their color stands for?
B. Keep their enemies away.
Very good. Because their enemies, when they saw that color, what would they normally do?
They would run.
Right. Because they know basically. Number 5.
How are arrow poison frogs different from the other frogs? Because the arrow poison frogs and poison frogs, they're poisonous and they keep the other ones away from them. So yeah.
Because what would happen if they bit a frog that was an arrow poison frog, another frog?
They would die.
And is the coloring different from the frogs?
Yes.
Because the ones, they are more brightly colored. So can you come up with a sentence that tells me a difference? And I know you started with because, but can we try to think of another way that we can start our sentence without because? And what we'll do is we'll come back this afternoon. We'll just try to read through the story one more time just to see fluency-wise, and I have a couple of other questions that we'll be reading about. Okay? You did an awesome job. Thank you.